The dimly lit chamber on the alien dreadnought thrummed with an unnatural energy, its metallic walls shimmering with faint hues of green and blue. Dozens of Vraxian warriors stood in formation, their elongated limbs rigid, their sharp, angular faces etched with grim satisfaction. At the center of the room, encased in a shimmering energy field, lay the lifeless body of Commander Ethan Cole, a human soldier captured during Earth's first major encounter with the Vraxian Empire. Finally, hissed Overseer Xal, a towering figure draped in ornate armor, his four glowing eyes narrowing in contempt. The humans' resistance is over. Such primitive creatures. Their arrogance led them to believe they could stand against the might of the Vraxian Empire. A ripple of approval coursed through the assembled warriors. For months, the humans had been an unexpected thorn in the Vraxians' side. Despite their inferior technology, humans had displayed a tenacity and ingenuity that had stalled the Vraxian invasion fleet in ways no other species had managed. Ethan Cole, in particular, had earned a reputation among the aliens as a relentless tactician and a formidable adversary. His death was a victory they intended to savor. Sal stepped closer to the containment field, his claws tapping against the smooth floor. "Prepare the neural extraction device," he commanded. "We will harvest his memories and strategies. Perhaps we will find some use for his pitiful existence after all." Two technicians, their smaller frames darting nervously, wheeled in a spider-like machine bristling with needles and glowing conduits. The neural extractor was a device the Vraxians had perfected over centuries of conquest, capable of ripping every memory, thought, and secret from a subject's mind. Even in death, Ethan Cole's mind would be laid bare for their scrutiny. As the machine hummed to life, a faint flicker of movement went unnoticed by the Vraxians. Ethan's body, though still encased in the containment field, twitched ever so slightly. Then his eyes snapped open, blazing with an intensity that froze the nearest technician in place. "Impossible!" Xal barked, his voice echoing through the chamber. "He's dead." But Ethan was anything but dead. With a guttural yell, he surged to his feet, the containment field shattering around him like glass. The energy shards dissipated into the air as he clenched his fists, his veins glowing faintly with an otherworldly light. "You shivchep twice," Ethan growled, his voice laced with both fury and grim amusement. Before the Vraxians could react, Ethan moved. His speed was unnatural, a blur of motion that defied the limits of biology. In a heartbeat, he had closed the distance to the nearest warrior, disarming and incapacitating him with a single fluid motion. The room erupted into chaos. "Stop him!" Xal roared, his authority momentarily shaken. The warriors opened fire, their plasma rifles spitting bolts of searing energy, but Ethan was faster. He weaved through the barrage with an ease that defied comprehension, his movements almost predatory. Each step he took seemed calculated, precise, as if he could predict their actions before they even made them. Unbeknownst to the Vraxians, Ethan was no ordinary human. He had been part of the classified Earth Initiative, Project Revenant, a last-ditch effort to augment select soldiers with experimental nanotechnology. The nanites coursing through his bloodstream had not only healed his wounds, but had also enhanced his strength, speed, and reflexes to superhuman levels. More importantly, they had brought him back from the brink of death. Within moments, half the Vraxian warriors lay sprawled across the floor, incapacitated or worse. The remaining warriors hesitated, their confidence eroded by the impossible spectacle unfolding before them. "What are you?" Xal demanded, his voice trembling with a mixture of rage and fear. Ethan turned to face him, his piercing gaze unrelenting. "I'm human, that's all you need to know." With a roar, Xal charged, his claws extending as he swung at Ethan with deadly precision. But Ethan caught the alien's wrist mid-swing, twisting it with such force that Xal's armor buckled and cracked. The overseer cried out in pain, dropping to his knees as Ethan loomed over him. "You thought killing me would end this," Ethan said, his voice cold and resolute. "You've made a mistake." Before Xal could respond, Ethan delivered a devastating blow that sent the overseer sprawling. Turning to the remaining Vraxians, he raised his voice, his words cutting through the chaos like a blade. "Your empire thinks it can conquer humanity," he said. But you don't understand what you've provoked. We don't break. We don't surrender. And we don't forget. A sudden tremor shook the chamber, the lights flickering as alarms blared throughout the ship. Ethan smirked, glancing at a small device on his wrist. The signal had been sent. Moments later, the distant rumble of explosions reverberated through the dreadnought. Earth's retaliation fleet had arrived, targeting the Vraxian flagship with pinpoint precision. The surviving warriors exchanged panicked glances. Their confidence had evaporated, replaced by the primal fear they had never experienced before. For the first time, they were facing a foe they couldn't outmatch, outwit, or intimidate. "Run," Ethan said simply, his tone a mixture of warning and challenge. The Vraxians didn't need to be told twice. They fled the chamber, their discipline shattered, their morale broken. Ethan watched them go, his expression unreadable. Then, with deliberate calm, he activated the holographic interface on his wrist, contacting the incoming human fleet. "This is Cole," he said. "The ship's defenses are down. Light them up." "Roger that, Commander," came the reply, the voice tinged with both relief and admiration. As the human fleet opened fire, Ethan made his way to the nearest escape pod. He paused briefly, glancing back at the ruined chamber. The Vraxians had underestimated humanity, and it had cost them dearly. For every human they struck down, a dozen more would rise to take their place, fueled by resilience and an unyielding spirit. As the escape pod launched into the void, Ethan watched the Vraxian dreadnought erupt into flames, a brilliant explosion that lit up the darkness of space. He allowed himself a grim smile. This was only the beginning. "Let them regret," he muttered to himself. "Let them all regret."